Hello everyone, my name is Christian, and today I will be talking about Dante and his book Inferno as my final presentation for English 231 for literature. I would like to start with the author. The author name is Dante Alighieri. He was born in May 21st to June 20th to 1265. The date is not that accurate, probably because of the time. He died on September 13th or 14th of 1321 in Florence, Italy. Dante was married at 20 years old, but the real love of his life was Beatrice Portinari. The exact nature of his love for Beatrice is not clear since he claimed to have met her only twice in his life. Beatrice died 5 years after his marriage, and Dante wrote poems to her collected in a book called Vita Nuova, or The New Life. In the Divine Comedy, she is very important because she's the one that sends Virgil to guide Dante through hell. Inferno is the first part of the Divine Comedy, which was written in Italian, very unusual at the time because most poetry was written in Latin, and by writing in Italian, we can realize that Dante wanted his work to be read by a broader audience and not just an educated elite. At the beginning of Inferno, Dante is lost, both in life and literally in a dark woods, where he is blocked by three beasts, which we can interpret as the vices that could lead Dante, or really anyone, away from the right path. During the rising action, Virgil, sent by Beatrice, guides Dante through hell. They journey together from the first circle to the ninth circle, encountering with many sinners, observing their behaviors and punishment, and sometimes learning about their sins and their crimes. When the poets enter the eighth and ninth circles, one can see that while hell is burning hot in most places, frauds and traitors are punished in these inner circles that are brutally cold. In the climax of Inferno, Dante and Virgil reach Lucifer, who shoots three infamous traitors. The poets now must climb down his body to escape. Dante learns that hell was formed when Satan fell from heaven, which created a vast pit from which the poets are emerging from. During the resolution, Dante indeed emerges from hell and sees the stars again. Alighieri reminds his readers that even in the darkest depths, the light of salvation is never lost. These literary elements help convey the theme of salvation. The main character. Dante's journey is a representation of the soul's quest for salvation. The poem begins with Dante midway in the journey of our life, who finds himself within a dark wood, for the right way had been lost. That's directly from the book itself. It's one of the first passages in the introduction. From the very opening, Dante's quest becomes a journey towards salvation, an attempt to emerge from the darkness into the light of divine truth. His progress is not only geographical, but spiritual as well. What I try to mean by that is that Dante is not only going through hell and observing other sinners, and it's not just a journey. As I said, it's not only geographically, it's also spiritual. because through this journey he prepares himself for redemption. The other thing I wanted to talk about was symbolism and symbolism as a vehicle for salvation. Alighieri's Inferno is densely symbolic, and many of its images serve to highlight the theme of salvation by contrasting sin's deformity with the divine order. Perhaps the most significant symbol is the straight path that Dante has lost. The right way, mentioned in the opening lines, symbolizes righteousness and faith, while the dark forest embodies confusion and spiritual blindness. The setting of hell is an allegory for the soul's path to redemption. So that's how I titled my last paragraph for this discussion, in which I wanted to talk about the setting of hell basically, because the setting of Inferno, those meticulously structured 9 circles of hell, is not simply a landscape of punishment, but an allegorical map of the soul's moral disorder. Each circle corresponds to specific categories of sin, progressing from lesser to greater. And it's like a map but for moral corruption. By structuring hell as a progressive descent into alienation from divine love, Alighieri uses the setting to dramatize salvation's necessity. The physical journey through hell becomes an allegory for the inner journey away from sin. It's not only that he recreated um, a very good description or map of what Inferno was, but he also uses that as why it is important to get into the right way. And I think that's a very, very, very particular use of hell and allegory for soul's path to redemption. And that was it for my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't too hard to watch. Inferno was a really good book. I really enjoyed reading it because one can get into the shoes of the main character, who at the same time was the author of the book. And when you're feeling like that you're lost, especially if you're midway in life, which I'm not. However, you can identify yourself with that character and see why it is important, not only on the theological theme, but as whatever, if you feel lost, you should recover that path to redemption and to your soul's salvation, even if your God is a different God, or even if you don't have a God at all. I think the value of Dante's Inferno is not only on the theological means that it expresses, but also on the deepness of the concepts that he talks about in that book. And that's why I love that book and why I decided to make my final paper and my final presentation about that book. I hope you like it, and thank you so much.